Want even more DynamicsCon learning and networking? Join us in Scottsdale, Arizona, May 22nd through 25th for 3 full days of over 115 sessions for Dynamics 365, Dynamics GP, and Power Platform. See the left menu bar for more details on this upcoming in-person conference. Please welcome our heroic sponsor, mscrm-addons.com, and superhero Bailey Moss. Today, he will be presenting on optimizing your contract processes through Dynamics 365 and e-signature integration, presented by mscrm-addons.com.
Hello and welcome. My name is Bailey Moss and I'm the Director of Sales for the Americas here at mscrm-addons.com. I've been with mscrm-addons for going on 6 years and my primary responsibility is going to be around sales. So of course that's demos, proof of concept, sales support, as well as some professional services when needed. So if you have any questions during or after this session, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or a member of our team and we'd be happy to help. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So today's session is going to be optimizing your contract processes through Dynamics and our e-signature integration. First, a little bit about us. We're one of the oldest add-on solution providers here at mscrm-addons. We're based out of Graz, Austria, and I'm based out of our US office here in Atlanta, Georgia. We've got 7 solutions certified and available for trial on AppSource as well as our website. However, today I'll just be focusing on DocumentsCorePack and possibly Attachment Extractor if I have time. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, and we work with solution implementers and partners all over the globe as well as customers directly. But yeah, let's get into the agenda. So today's agenda. So first, I'll get into kind of a high-level overview of DocumentsCorePack, how it works, and how it integrates with e-signature. From there, we'll get right into the demo, and I'll actually go through Dynamics 365, and I'll show how you can generate custom contracts with a single click, what we call one-click actions. From there, I'll show how you can automate that same process using our Power Automate actions. And then as mentioned, if time allows, I'll also get into kind of a high-level overview of Attachment Extractor and how it can really save you money on storage costs. Finally, if time allows, we will also have a 5-minute Q&A with myself as well as our US support manager, Clint Higley. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into DocumentsCorePack. So DocumentsCorePack is really a document generation and dynamic templating tool. So it makes building templates as well as sending documents, whether as e-signature or as an email, very easy through Dynamics as well as Dataverse instances. So it can really be broken down into 3 key components or pillars. The first of which is going to be design. So we offer a Word-based template designer add-in that allows you to easily insert fields, relationships, add filtering. Beyond that, you can add charts, dynamic tables, you can add conditional logic, dynamic images, and much, much more. I could really speak all day of what you can bring into a template beyond just data from your Dynamics or Dataverse instance. Next is what are you doing with that template once you've created it? So once you've developed your template, how are you sending it? How are the end users leveraging that document? So we can set up what are called one-click actions, which are predetermined steps to attach that document as an email, attach it, or send it as email content. So you can also use DocumentsCorePack templates as email content, send through an e-signature provider such as Adobe Sign, DocuSign, or AsureSign, save to SharePoint automatically, send to a printer, either cloud or local printer. You can kick off a workflow, action, or Power Automate flow as well, which leads into my next kind of pillar, which is going to be automation. So anything I show in the manual generation through our one-click actions, you can also automate through our Power Automate connector. And there's 25 plus actions that covers really all of your needs, including e-signature, when it comes to automating documents. We do also support classic Microsoft workflows. However, along with Microsoft, we're kind of pushing people towards Power Automate if you have an online instance. However, this does function in both online as well as on-premise all the way back to CRM 2013 and possibly 2011 if you reach out to us beforehand. And yeah, this is all going to be encompassed in the Microsoft Dataverse. As mentioned, we're supporting both Dynamics as well as any Dataverse instance. So if you're just using a Canvas app front end, we're happy to integrate with that and allow you to generate documents there as well. But now e-signature. So of course, not only do we generate documents, we also have integrations with the three largest e-signature providers, or three of the largest e-signature providers, which are going to be Adobe Sign, DocuSign, and AsureSign. So of course, what this is showing is you have your business data for contracts or really anything. So if you want to generate quotes, you can use that as well. But yeah, you pull in your data using DocumentsCorePack. So that's where you build out your template, you add your contact information, your account information, any conditional logic. Beyond that functionality, there's some more contract specific functionality such as prompts, editable sections, and of course the ability to live edit a document. So there's really a lot you can do. Next, once you've generated your template, we then have an integration which connects through either Adobe Sign, DocuSign, or AsureSign's API, and then you can then send through, in one click, send through one of those providers for the legal e-signature. But rather than continue to talk about it on this slideshow, I'd like to go ahead and get into my demo, which is going to be generating an NDA from an opportunity and triggering the e-signature process. So let me go ahead and get out of my slideshow here and go ahead and open up my Dynamics instance, which is going to be in the Sales Hub, but it's going to be the same functionality in any model-driven app, whether out of the box or custom, or if you're just using a Dataverse instance with a Canvas app front end. So since I'm going to be generating from an opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and head over to my opportunities. And once you look there, it's an opportunity for interested in implementing DocumentsCorePack for contracts. And this opportunity tells a little bit of a story. This is actually a real world scenario for me, a little bit shorter, a little less communication, but essentially you have someone calling in, they want a demo of DocumentsCorePack, you've scheduled that demo, you've sent a quote, which this quote was also sent using DocumentsCorePack here, so you can see it was sent as a PDF attachment with the email content filled out. And then finally, after the quote, we have a request for an NDA. So commonly, NDAs are sent by having a static document, which someone manually modifies or copy and paste data into, and then submits, goes over to DocuSign or Adobe Sign and drops it in to then be sent as a DocuSign file. Instead, what we have is our action up here, create document. And then I've got a button that's predefined to send a non-disclosure agreement. So these are those one-click actions I was mentioning, and these are predefined steps for taking a template. So you can have it say automatically select the template, automatically say who it's being sent to, automatically define what it's being sent as. So that's what this is really doing. But I'll go ahead and click Send Non-Disclosure Agreement, NDA, and that has a description of sending through DocuSign. The only manual step in this process, or actually there's two, is going to be defining the recipients. So I'll say, okay, I want this to be the contact and the owner of the record as the co-signer, and I'll go ahead and hit Create Document here. In the background, what's happening is the document is being generated via our DocumentsCorePack service, which can be hosted through us or in your own on-premise instance or via VM. And what this is going to do is give me an edit and preview step. So I can preview this document. I can also edit it before it's sent. So if there's any last-minute adds you need to make to a contract or document, you can also set that up in the one-click action process. But I'll go ahead and hit Finish here, which is going to attach and send it as a DocuSign email. So I'll go ahead and hit Finish. One thing to note here is this will take a little bit longer than standard document generation, such as if you're using us to send an email, just because we're passing it over to that DocuSign service and waiting for a passback. So I'll give this a little bit of time, and then I'll go ahead and once this is completed, I'll open up my Outlook and we can check out that document. All right, and you can see that it's completed, so I'll just navigate over to my Outlook here. And you can see there's that agreement waiting for me to review and sign. So I'll go ahead and hit Review Document. And of course, this is going to be getting more into the DocuSign functionality of now that my DocuSign document's been sent, it's time to send it, or it's time to sign it. So you can see here, if I scroll back up, you've got some dynamic data being brought in. So I'm bringing account information, address information. And then down here in green, there's actually some conditional logic that I'll show in the template. But this is just defining the governing law based on the account country code. So I'll go ahead and sign that as Michael Scott, the regional manager, and go and hit Finish. And then I've got to hit OK that way, so it sends it back for co-signature once this finishes. And this is once again just waiting on the DocuSign piece to load. And so I'll go ahead and hit No Thanks there. And now if I go to my John Snow, because I have access to both inboxes, I'll review it as the co-signer. I'll go ahead and sign that document here as well. And once completed, a nice thing about DocuSign, and it's very similar with the other e-signature providers, is it does pass the data back to Dynamics, or it passes the signed, the signed status back to Dynamics. So I'll go and hit start. You can see there's already Michael Scott's signature there, and now I'll sign as Jon Snow, the King of the North. So I'll go ahead and hit finish here. And once that's completed, I'll give it a sec and I'll navigate back to the opportunity, and I should be able to show you that signed document as well as the status. So I'll go back here and open up my opportunity. We'll refresh this, but it can take a few minutes for it to sync back from DocuSign just to know that you have that signed document, but it will show up in my timeline as a note, save the completed document. So I'll just keep refreshing this a few times to make sure that it's added that signed document and we can take a look at it. So let's give that one more second here. And you can see there it is. So this is going to be the signed document. So if I open that up here, you can see there it is with the dynamic content, the 2 signatures, and of course the signature information stored. So now we're good to go. Anything that we needed that NDA for, such as proof of concept, if you're doing any development or accessing a customer's environment, it's going to be that easy to send and sign an agreement. To show you what this looks like from the template side, I'll go and open up my template designer here, and this is our Word-based template designer. So as you can see, if you're familiar with Word, which I think most are, and you have just a basic understanding of relationships in field and dynamics, we make it really easy to design templates. So I'll go and hit Insert Mail Merge Fields here, which is going to load all of my mail merge fields or all of my entity fields for the opportunity, because this is going to be an opportunity-based template. While that's loading, I'll show, oh, there it is. So these are going to be all of my standardly available fields on that entity, or I should say table. And anything highlighted red is because I chose a sample record to actually tell me what fields I should be inserting from. So choosing a sample record allows you to see in that list of available fields what fields actually have data, and then an example of that data to make it really easy to insert. So if I did want to insert another field here, I could just hit that and I'll just insert the created on there. Now the created on date is there, and of course you have all of the Word formatting capabilities as well. A little bit of advanced piece of functionality in this template, which this is overall a pretty simple template, but is going to be that conditional logic. So you can see I have 2 lines here, so 2 different governing law static text lines, and you can also bring in dynamic content conditionally as well. You can nest these conditions, but this is a pretty straightforward condition of if the account's country equals US or Canada, switch the governing law to US. If it's outside the US or Canada, switch it to Austrian law, specific to the regional court of Graz, where we're of course based. So if I open that up, in fact, really quick, I can just show you how simple that is to design these conditions. And as mentioned, you can nest these and of course add more filter criteria. You can see it's just straight conditional block if statement going under the account's address, country, region equals US or equals Canada. And then if not, I'm placing in the other, the if else, the else logic. Additionally, I'm inserting the parent contact full name. So you can see I'm going through a few relationships here. And then finally, we have my e-signature fields. E-signature fields are extremely easy to add as well. So if I were to go over here and say, insert DocuSign, one requirement here is you do already have to have a DocuSign license and integration. Same thing with Adobe Sign and AssureSign. But you can see you have all of your available e-signature fields to insert there, such as initial, signature. Another nice feature is the fact that you can define multiple signees and set their sign order in the document. So if I wanted to say change the sign order of this DocuSign field here, I would go ahead and go to field properties, and this will tell me, who does this field belong to, signer 1 or signer 2, because you can see I signed as Michael Scott as well as Jon Snow in the previous example. Additionally, you can add more relationships than are just, say, lookup relationships by adding a custom relationship here or an existing relationship here. And we have no limit of the level of relationships that you can go deep. So if I wanted to go to opportunity to quote to quote products, or quote to quote line to products to price list, there's really no limit here. You can also add filters. You can set up aggregation. But I think I'm going a bit down a rabbit hole, so I'll stay away from that. So once you have your template, how am I then creating a one-click action? So I'll go back to Dynamics and show how I created that button. So if I go over here to my the advanced settings and then scroll over to DocumentsCorePack here, Once that loads, you'll see we have our one-click actions. And then it's going to be the same thing as the templates. They are entity or table based. So I'll open up opportunity, and you can see there's my button there. So send non-disclosure agreement NDA. So it's as simple as giving it a name. You can also give it a description, but it's not a required field. And then you define your template. So are you predefining it? Are you allowing user selection? You can also make the template selection conditional. So based on a field on that record, you can select a specific template. Say if you're dealing with different countries or different states, you can send different contracts. You can also use multi-part, which is the ability to take multiple templates and concatenate those into a single document, such as larger contracts. If you're doing something like an employee onboarding, where you have a package of documents where you need e-signature, you can also use it that way. Next, you're defining how is it being sent. So given that this is a DocuSign template, because it has DocuSign fields, I want to send this as a DocuSign email. Then I can also set up in-person signing. So this is great for things like Canvas apps. You can set up an in-person signature, or if you're using the mobile Dynamics app, you can set up the in-person signing. And then you can define your recipients as well. And then of course you have your other actions such as, save to SharePoint, run kickoff workflow, run action, or Microsoft Flow. And that's really nice because you can actually use these one-click actions as the trigger for a Power Automate flow. And then finally, I have my review and edit step. So I showed that I did have a review and edit step. However, you can completely skip that and say, okay, I just want the user to click the button and that's it, and the contract signed without defining who it's being sent to and without previewing. You can set it up that way as well. Now, all of that can also be automated through our Power Automate actions, and I've got a very simple example of this same button essentially just being set up in Power Automate. So here I'm using the onSelect trigger, which looks like is being deprecated, but so when the record is selected, I'm just getting the opportunities contact. So I want to get the contact information, I want to get the owner information, and then I'm getting into my DocumentsCorePack actions. So and this is using an API. It's connecting directly to the service, and these are available in Power Automate. So if you're using Power Automate, you can look up our actions, and if you have a DocumentsCorePack service, you can leverage all these actions. It's not an add-on to the license or anything like that. So you can see here, I'm now creating my document using the DocumentsCorePack action, and all I'm really defining is the environment, the template name, the entity it's running against, and the file type it's being generated as. Then I've got a great step, which is our send through e-signature step, and that same thing, are very similar, where I'm just defining the environment, the entity that it's running against, what the schema name of that entity is, and of course the previous document job, and then the signing provider. What's nice here is your ability to predefine the signees, as well as set a custom subject or set up in-person signature. So you can see here, I'm setting up a custom subject and using Power Automate to make that dynamic, and same thing for the second signee as well. So we make it really simple to build out these as an automated process as well. But yeah, that's really pretty much it for my DocumentsCorePack and contract example. If you have any questions, as mentioned, this is fully trialable. So if you have a use case either for contracts or any other document automation or generation, please don't hesitate to reach out. But since we have a little bit of time remaining, I figure I'll go ahead and show a little bit of attachment extractor. But yeah, let me go ahead and switch back over to my PowerPoint here. So give me just 1 second. I'll minimize this window. But yeah, so attachment extractor. So attachment extractor is another product of ours that was primarily built to reduce storage and therefore save money in Dynamics 365 and Dataverse environments. We do that by focusing on the two main areas of storage, being database capacity and file capacity. On the database capacity side, we are focusing on email content, which is going to reside under your activity pointer base. And what we do is we extract that rich email content from Dynamics to an Azure Blob Storage location, and then stream it back as soon as that email is viewed or opened. So there will be no change in the end user experience. Same thing for file capacity, except we're focusing on the annotation base table within file capacity and the attachments table. And what we're doing there is you can either move it to Azure Blob or SharePoint. If you're using integrated SharePoint, you can also follow that same folder structure, but it's going to be fully accessible and no change in UI after extraction. So to give you an idea of what that looks like, this is a demo environment I created and just kind of pumped in a lot of emails with attachments, as well as notes directly in this Dynamics environment. After turning on the service, you can see It reduced my activity pointer base and database usage by about 57%, and you can expect around 50% reduction in your storage. And on the file usage side, it's even more because you're generally dealing with larger overall file sizes, and it reduced it by 79%. You can expect upwards of 80%. This is a big deal just given the cost of additional storage in Dynamics. On the database side, I believe it's currently sitting around $40 per gigabyte per month, where if you're moving it to Azure Blob, it can be as low as less than 1 cent per gigabyte per month. And then on the file usage side, if you're reducing it, say, by 10 gigs, you're looking at $2 per gigabyte per month for additional storage. So you can see it's a pretty immediate cost savings when using this tool. And as mentioned, it's going to be no change in end user experience. To give you an idea of what this looks like when in use, so I'll just open back up, switch back around to my Dynamics instance here, and open up a case. And this will be a case that I know has a lot of attachments that have already been extracted by our tool. And this is going to be a service similar to DocumentsCorePack, where you can host it through us, or you can host in your own local server or VM. And it's just going to be doing the heavy lifting of actually moving those files and email contents. But as you can see here, I've got lots of attachments or lots of notes in my timeline with attachments. So if I were to say, click this inspection response docx, you can see it's downloading just as if it were residing in Dynamics. However, in this case, this is actually being stored in SharePoint. We're accessing this file by actually triggering a local plugin that's pulling the SharePoint link that's sitting in the background. So if I were to open that up, it'd be the same file. Same thing for PDFs. It's going to behave just as normal, where you have your PDF preview for extracted items. So you can see here our price list, and this has been extracted. Because I'm using our integrated SharePoint connection for this service, if I go over to my documents, you'll actually see those related documents under the records. So you can see here, there's all of those extracted items. Additionally, it's going to be very similar for email content. So if I were to go to, once again, Michael Scott, if I were to go to Michael Scott here and show some emails, I should be able to show a few extracted items. The only and you can set it up to make a change. So on the attachment side, if you wanted to add a markup to the file name, you can set up your service to where it adds a markup to your file name, and then you know it's been extracted. And then same thing for email body. I have it set to show me only plain text in the timeline. However, as soon as this email is open, it's going to be in rich text. And both of these, as mentioned, both DocumentsCorePack and Attachment Extractor are fully trialable. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me go ahead and put on some contact information on my screen. If I go over here and scroll back one. So yeah, so here's all of our contact information. I can be reached directly via email or phone at our US office, and of course our European office as well. As mentioned, or as shown, we have 17-hour-a-day support Monday through Friday. But yeah, let's get into the Q&A and as well with my colleague Clint Higley. Thank you for watching.